this system is different because it focuses on what we call universal inputs. A universal input is a channel which is independently programmable that can directly attach to a strain gauge or a load cell or a thermocouple or an RTD or a thermistor or current source or voltage source or a accelerometer. And then it can return engineering units. So if you hook up a load cell which measures force, let's say 1,000 to 0 to 1,000 kilograms, then this will give you that number. And the other systems on the market, for the most part, work with voltage. And also there's specialty systems that will work with, let's say, strain gauges. But in this case, we have, with each channel, it could be any of these sensors, software programmable. Also, we focus on high accuracy and low cost. The system is a card cage system that has cards that plug into a card cage. The card cages could be 4 slots, 8 slots, 12 slots, or 16 slots. And shown in this picture here is a 4-slot card cage. In each card cage, you have one module which is an A to D converter, and it gives you 8 channels. And this is the starter system, which sells for approximately $1,300 US. And that gives you 8 channels with universal inputs. And then for approximately $500 US additional, you could add a card and a wiring box that will get you approximately 10 more channels. In this system, we have a little box here that connects the card cage to the computer. This is a Windows computer. This box contains the processor. And in order to get the price down, the prices are very, very competitive, and the accuracy up, we put the processor here. And inside the card cage, there's no processors. In other systems with card cages, you typically have a processor on each card. Also, you have an A to D converter on each card, which adds noise and also cost. We have one A to D converter with an analog backplane, which means that if you add a card with 10 additional channels, it'll take the signal and send it down the backplane to the A to D card. That saves cost. And since we don't have the processor inside the box, our analog backplane is quiet, so we can move the signal without it picking up noise. And the system does particularly well with low-level measurements. A low-level measurement is something like a signal that's maybe several millivolts or tens of millivolts, which is the case with a load cell, a strain gauge, or a thermocouple. And there are many data acquisition systems that do voltage only, let's say 0 to 10 volts, and they're low cost, lower cost than this. But this is, it costs more than that, than those lower end systems, but also it provides very high accuracy with these low-level measurements. There's several cards that are available. There's the I-430 card, which is your A to D converter, and 8 channels. The I-420 card gives you 10 additional channels, and the I-423 card gives you 6 additional channels, and it gives you the option of filtering, low-pass filtering. And with filtering, in many applications, one needs to do a low-pass filter, an anti-aliasing filter, before they digitize. And there's these modules which are about 1.5 centimeters by 3 centimeters, and they attach to the I-423 card, and this is an 8-pole analog filter. And this costs about $150 US per channel, which is a very competitive price for anti-aliasing filters. We have several software options. We have free strip chart recorder software. We have Daisy Lab software that we can attach to. You can attach to LabVIEW. You can program in C or C++ or Visual Basic. Or there's a program called Direct to Excel, which is where you digitize directly into an Excel spreadsheet in real time. we have what we call the starter system, which is everything shown in this picture here, and this is everything you need to get started. It includes the power supply, the processor, and a card cage with 2 cards, and this A to D card with 8 channels. So this gets you started with 8 channels, and this is $1,300 US dollars. And if you ground the input of any data acquisition system and digitize, then you get a sense as to the internal noise. And with InstruNet, if you do that with the any of these cards, you'll see approximately 2 microvolts RMS of noise on a low voltage range, like plus minus 10 millivolt measurement range. And if you tell the system to average for 16 milliseconds for each point, where the A to D converter reads the signal about 1,000 times and then takes the average value and that's your 1 point, then you can reduce your noise to 0.2 microvolts RMS, which is 20 to 30 to 40 times lower than your typical voltage-based data acquisition system. The maximum sample rate, it depends on what you're doing, but if you're reading a high-level voltage, the maximum sample rate is 160,000 samples per second, and that's total. So if you have 2 channels, the maximum would be 80,000 samples a second per channel. If you're doing low-level measurements, your maximum sample rate is 70,000 samples a second. That's could be reading a microvolt signal or a millivolt signal. And if you did, let's say, 10 channels, then your maximum would be the 70,000 divided by the 10. It would be 7,000 samples per second per channel. Each card typically has a wiring box bolted to it, and there's several wiring boxes that are available. If you're working with thermocouples, you need the I510 wiring box. The I511 provides B and C connectors, and the I512 is good with load cells and strain gauges. And this is showing how you can have 4 slots, 8 slots, 12 slots, or 16 slots. We're now going to switch to the software, the free software that's included with the system, and I'm going to press the start button to tell it to start digitizing. And right now we have attached to channel 1 a thermocouple, and it's reading 19.8 degrees, and we're going to heat it up by just putting our fingers on it, and you can see how the waveform goes up when we heat it up, and then when we let go, it starts to come down. And that's we also have a load cell attached to channel 2, and this measures force. It's set up right now to read 0 to 5 pounds, and when we push on it, we can see the value changes. And then the other thing that we have is we're doing the what is it? Voltage. Point. Yeah, we have a voltage calibrator, and we told it right now to output 1.4 volts, and we can see right here. Oh, now it's set for 2 volts. Okay, you can see right here the calibrator is putting 2 volts into the InstruNet. InstruNet reads it as 1.99 or so. It's moving around a little bit, but 1.99, it's off by about a millivolt or so. And it's not clear if that's the calibrator or the InstruNet. The InstruNet's accurate to, let's see, on this plus minus 5 volt range, it's accurate to, I think, approximately half a millivolt. Let's see, 5 millivolts, 1 out of 1,000. Yeah, it's accurate to about a millivolt or so, so that's within the accuracy of the systems. And with this software, you have a couple of these, what we call pages. This is the record page. But if we click here, we go to what we call the network page. And this shows the different things that are attached to the system. And we have, let's see, this box is not attached. Yeah, so we have a wiring box. This is showing that the wiring box has been disconnected. We had a wiring box, but it wasn't bolted down, so it fell off. So these aren't reading the correct values anymore. They were reading the correct values. But this is showing your different channels.
Should we turn it off and on?
Well, let's see.
Okay.
Let's see.
This is for this.
Oh, it is bolted down?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. We'll
record the stop the record.
let's see here. Open. We'll load this in again. I think something got disconnected when we were moving things around. Okay.
Okay, we're just going to see if the software stops.
Okay,
reading,
so now
right?
it's reading. Yeah, the
Okay.
wiring box, I think, got disconnected temporarily while we were pulling on it, but now we pushed it back in. So so we have the channels here shown in the system, and this is showing that right now in the system we have this I-430 card, and it has the 16 single-ended channels and also 8 differential. It's got 4 voltage output channels, and it's got 4 digital I/O channels. And we're going to show you how to set up a channel by pressing the clear button to clear all the settings. And when you start the software from scratch, this is what you would see. None of the channels have been set up. We're going to go to the first channel, and we're going to tell it that we have a J thermocouple attached. We're going to say that we've got one of them, and we're going to say that it's going to digitize at 60 samples a second. It's going to show Celsius. We're going to tell it to record a temperature between 20 and 30 C. We're going to tell it to average for 16 milliseconds for each point recorded, and we're doing one channel. And right now it's showing 20.5 degrees C. And then when we go to the record page, we'll see this one channel. We press the start button, and then it digitizes, and there's our signal right there. So we heat it up and then let go. And there we go. Also, we're going to press the stop button, and then we're going to save the settings. And we're just going to say, no, I'm sorry, that's saving the data itself. We're going to save this setup, and it's going to be InstruNet one channel thermocouple. So that in the future, if we want to load in this setup, we would load that file. So this is showing an example of setting up a channel and recording and saving the setup. And next, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the direct-to-Excel software. I'm going to go ahead and close the InstruNet software, and I'm going to run a program, another software program, and this system provides that InstruNet software free of charge, but if you want, you can get the Plus version of the software for another approximate $300 US. And the Plus version has a couple of things that it provides. I'm going to talk about that. One of which is this software program called Direct-to-Excel, and it's a simple program. And in here, you can set up your channels for digitizing. We just set up one channel, and then press the start button, and it's going to open up an Excel spreadsheet, a new spreadsheet, and then it's going to start digitizing. and in real time it'll place the data into the spreadsheet. We set up one channel, but you could set up anywhere from 1 to 256 channels. And now it's digitizing in real time. And now I'm going to tell it to stop. So we recorded 14 points. So that's direct to Excel. And also with InstruNet World Plus, you have the a variety of features. With InstruNet World Plus, you can add pop-up menus. You can add edit fields, and you can also add static text that appear on the InstruNet window. And also you can create buttons. And there's a scripting language that InstruNet World Plus provides. So you write little scripts to do things. And I'll show you an example of that. We're going to run the InstruNet software. And InstruNet World Plus is it's inside the InstruNet software, and it's unlocked with a license code. And this has already been enabled with the license code. And I'll show you an example of something you could do with InstruNet World Plus. We're going to set up 3 channels for digitizing. I'll just click on these boxes here to enable these channels for digitizing. So click the start button and then stop just to show how this works. And here I'm going to create a button, and the name of the button is just Hi. And there's the button. And I'm going to go into the script page, and here we're going to say that after that button, after the Hi button is pressed, we're going to run this script. So it says after press button in the record page, the Hi button, we're going to execute a script, and we're going to do something simple. We're just going to show an alert that says hello. And now we'll see how this works. We have our button, our new button that we created. We press it, and it shows the alert. And we just wrote a simple program. And the scripting language is pretty simple. It enables you to do some simple things. It's not powerful like MATLAB or LabVIEW, but also it's a lot less money, and it's tied in nicely with the InstruNet software. So if you want to learn more about it, you can go to the website instrunet.com, and in the menu bar, go to Software and go to InstruNet World Plus, and you'll see this page right here. And there's all these links that you can click to get documentation on InstruNet World Plus. And one thing that's interesting about InstruNet is there's no printed materials within the InstruNet system. Instead, there's just a website. And the website's the brochure, but also the website is the user manual. It's not like we have a brochure and a user manual. It's all one thing. And the advantage of that is you can click on the links to move around from page to page. So if you click on mathematical functions, for example, then it jumps to an area in the website where it gives you a list of some of the math functions that you can run. For example, this converts Celsius to Fahrenheit. And also, there's these other functions like sine wave. This creates a sine wave. And that could be used to drive an output channel, for example. And so there's about I don't know, 100 or so functions that you can type into the script language. It's a little bit like Visual Basic, but it's more simple than Visual Basic. Now, we're going to go and add some more items here. We're going to add a text field. And this is an area where you can type, and this is interfaced into the script language, so the script language could read that text. And we're going to create a pop-up menu where you can select multiple options, and the script language could read what the end user had set. And we're also going to create a text field here where the script language sets the text that's shown here. So if you wanted to show a value or the status of the system, you could show that here. So there's some simple user interface things that you can add to the window using InstruNet World Plus. So now we have 5 more minutes, and is there any way where we can take questions or ask them their applications, or you want, since we have a small group of people, can we?
Yes. Bueno, si alguien tiene alguna duda del funcionamiento de los equipos y quisiera conocer un poco más del hardware, de cómo funciona el software, con todo gusto le podemos abrir el micrófono para que nos haga la pregunta y que podamos responder en este momento. Como comentaba Glenn, en su página podemos encontrar todas las especificaciones, por ejemplo, la precisión de las tarjetas para adquisición de temperatura de la celda de carga, lo podemos encontrar aquí. Entonces, si alguien gusta preguntar, lo puede hacer en español, en inglés, y con todo gusto les ayudamos para que Glenn nos entienda. So then we're going to wait to see if somebody wants to make a question.
Okay. Also, they can phone us too at the end of the meeting. The meeting ends in 4 minutes. So you can phone us. They have a phone number if you want to talk on the phone.
Okay. Here is already a question from Jaime, from an engineer from Jaime.
Yeah.
He's asking if the software has some memory, if it's like a record.
Oh, that's a good point. There's something called a data logger, which records data independent of a computer. So you take it out into the factory without a computer, you record your data, it has a certain amount of memory, and then you bring it back. This is a system that attaches to a Windows computer through USB, and it records directly into the Windows computer. So your memory is the Windows computer, which is a couple gigabytes of RAM, and your hard disk maybe, I don't know, anywhere from 100 gigabytes to a terabyte. But the system itself doesn't have much memory.
Okay. Bueno, entonces como respuesta nos comenta, el sistema en sí no tiene memoria, no es un registrador, sí requiere de la computadora. It does require the computer to record data, right?
Yes.
That would be the straight answer.
Right. Now there's also another question is cold junction compensation. To measure thermocouples you need cold junction compensation, which is built into the I510 wiring box. It's actually in the wiring box because you need a temperature sensor at the screw terminals. And there's screw terminals in the I510 wiring box, and it does the right thing. You attach a thermocouple to the I510 and it'll give you degree C back. There was another question about accuracy specifications. There are more accuracy specifications on this system than any other system in the world, and I'll show you what I mean by that. If you go to the InstruNet website and go to the data sheet on one of the cards. So this is the I430 card, for example. And then scroll down on this data sheet. And it's providing accuracy specification, absolute accuracy specifications for the 8 sensors. So for voltage measurement, these are accuracy specifications. for different voltage ranges, but also different amounts of integration. If you average the signal for a little while to get one point, then your accuracy increases a bit. So this is the voltage specifications. This is your voltage drift errors. Here's your thermocouple accuracy specifications. And here's your thermistor accuracy specifications, RTD, load cell, strain gauge. And also in here, you can click on error components, strain gauge error components. And here it provides a little bit more information. Let's say with strain gauge measurements, it tells you, for example, the temperature drift of an external bridge completion resistor, for example. So these are some more details.
Okay, there were other two questions.
Oh, okay.
So they were in Spanish. So I saw you didn't saw them or didn't get that right. But one is about how many thermocouples can we have in total in the system? How many TCs can we have?
Right, that's a good question. There's a couple of limitations. If you get a 16-slot card cage and you load it up with these I-420 cards, then you're at 148 channels. It's 148 channels with one card cage. You could have multiple card cages. You could go up to 256. The software supports up to 256.
Okay, that would be 256 canales para termopares. Another question was if we can show the product with our webcam so they can see how it is physically.
Oh, yeah.
So we can do it.
Yeah.
Here my partner can also help us to put the camera so they can see the product and see the size of it, because it is not big.
Yeah, it's 15 centimeters cubed.
Sí, tal vez alguien que estuviera observando ahorita la página donde se ven los productos pudiera observar que se veía grande, como el tamaño de una computadora, pero en realidad es más pequeño. Ahorita lo vamos a mostrar en la pantalla con una cámara para que puedan observar el tamaño del equipo, que es realmente pues pequeño. Bueno, nos hacen otra pregunta, Glenn. They are asking if we already have the 256 channels of Puppet. Can we grow that system to have another 256 channels?
You know, what's funny about that is it's 256 per computer.
Okay.
So you have got one computer, you could attach 256. But if you want more, you'd have to add another computer.
Okay, that would be a total for computer per system.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's right. It's great to know that, because maybe we are thinking about we can do something to grow it up, but we'll need another computer.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Here is the system, Glenn. If you would like to explain the parts.
Okay.
Of the system.
Now, can we pick up the camera so we can see?
Yes.
There's a card. There's a delay too. Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also look over there, Glenn.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's easier for you to see
the
delay.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a wiring box here. Is it showing the wiring box? Right here. There's a wiring box, and then we have the wiring box here, and we have a couple of things attached to the wiring box. The wiring box bolts to the card. We have the I-430 card right here in slot 2, which is the A to D card with 8 channels. You only have one I-430 card in each card cage because you have one A to D converter. This reduces cost, and if we wanted to add channels, we'd go to slot 3. We'd add something, a card to slot 3. And the communications card is in slot 1 right now. Okay. Any other
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Engineer Gerardo Romero is asking, comparing prices against NI with same specs, what would be the price comparison?
You know, that's a good point. It depends on what you're doing. If you're doing strain gauges or load cells, we may be half the money of NI. So it depends on the sensor, the number of channels, whether you have anti-aliasing or not. It depends on the sample rates. In some cases, we might be half the money of NI. There's also cases when we're not competitive. For example, if you're measuring a voltage between 0 and 10 volts, there's lower cost systems that will do that. But if you're working with anti-aliasing filters or low-level measurements, then we're competitive. With thermocouples, there are some systems that measure thermocouples slowly. And if you have 256 channels, I don't know if we're competitive on a slow thermocouples 256 channels.
Yeah, well, I know you have in your web page a comparison chart. We can show it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to compare InstruNet with other products, then you can go to the instrunet.com and let's see, you can type the word compare into the search field, C-O-M-P-A-R-E, search. You'll get to a web page. And I think it's actually, you got to go to gwinst.com.
Okay.
To see the comparison page. Not InstruNet. GWINST. In fact, we could even type into Google GWIN or InstruNet compare. We'll see if Google pulls this up to get to the web page. Compare. So this is a oh, I didn't type the right word. InstruNet compare. This one. Okay, no, it doesn't see that. Okay, I'll go to GWinst.
Here it is, the link.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we are opening. It's the link, so you can show them the comparisons that you have already done with some other brands.
All right. So yeah, if you go to the gwinst.com website and type the word compare into the search field, this should pop up. And the InstruNet is competitive in 5 different areas. One is high accuracy with low-level measurements, and this is comparing InstruNet with several other brands, showing the accuracy at different sample rates and the cost. And another area that InstruNet is competitive with is it's the lowest cost standalone system with universal inputs. There are some other systems with universal inputs, but they cost more money. Another area that InstruNet is competitive with is its lowest cost card cage system with universal inputs. There's other systems out there that have card cages, but they tend to be expensive or more expensive than InstruNet. InstruNet is the lowest cost card cage system with voltage inputs, not universal, but voltage. And we compare InstruNet here with several other brands. And also, InstruNet is lowest cost system with anti-aliasing filters. And we compare InstruNet with some other brands. For example, there's the USB 4431, which National Instruments has, and that price per channel is $500, and that's voltage inputs and only, and it doesn't go direct to sensors. But we go direct to sensors, and our cost per channel is about 40% less money. So those are the areas where InstruNet is most competitive versus other systems. So let's see, we're at 11:39. Do we want to wrap it up, or do we have more questions?
Sí, no sé si algún ingeniero más tuviera alguna pregunta. Ingeniero Gerardo Romero, por ejemplo, aquí en esta página puede encontrar esa comparación con algunos productos de NI, de National Instrument, pero igual, con todo gusto, si quisiera conocer el precio del equipo ya entregado en México de estos productos de InstruNet, con gusto le puedo hacer llegar la cotización. Y también, si en este momento tuvieran algún proyecto en específico en el cual quisieran que platicáramos para ver qué es lo que pudiéramos ofrecerles con esta solución de productos, nos pueden dejar su teléfono y en un momento más les llamamos, o dentro de los 30 minutos, 45 minutos más adelante que íbamos a continuar. Por si gustan, por teléfono podemos llevar a cabo una conferencia con Glenn para poder encontrar cuál es el producto. De acuerdo, muchas gracias a usted, ingeniero Gerardo. Si no hay más preguntas, con esto estaríamos terminando el día de hoy, el webinario sobre los productos de InstruNet. Con todo gusto vamos a estar disponibles para lo que lleguen a requerir, para que les hagamos la cotización.